Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon. Come a little closer. This is the Circle of 12. There are many of you who have gone on this little journey so many times. And there are always a few who will tune in to this particular channeling, meditation, or whatever you wish to call it. And it'll be the first time that you have then gone to this place, if you want to call it that is so different. Dear ones, this particular meditation exercise that we do with you, this Circle of 12, has purpose. And the purpose is actually several-fold. The first, as we have talked about before, is to go to an area that you don't normally think you can go to. This is a spectacular new energy you find yourself in. And some will say, well, yes, I'm not really sure I like it so far. There are so many things that are different. There's so much to learn. Perhaps that we are just now learning, some will say. The energy that we speak of now is the energy since 2012. It's an energy that has been predicted on this planet by so many. And then when I got here, dear ones, I told you in 1989 that something was coming, and it would not be World War III. That something was coming, and it would not be the Armageddon that you all expected, or that some of you expected because Scripture said it would be happening. Instead, you've got something that nobody predicted, in a way, perhaps, that's a new energy, but it's different. And that should tell you that many things have changed, and in that change, there has been positive things as well. Now, perhaps you're not seeing all of those yet, but some of you are beginning to realize that if you're going to get through this in this time, and the things that are being presented to you right now, that there is something positive. Some of you are starting to feel, yes, that you have new tools. There are things that the light worker can do that you have not been able to do in an older energy. I spoke a while ago of some of the healers that are beginning to experience new things. They're starting to see things happen, especially in their processes and in their work, in their procedures and in their energy work, that they didn't expect. They're seeing more results. They're seeing those who are not just getting healed, but they're seeing those who are becoming healers simply by being healed. Something is different. There are those who've been giving readings, you might say. Those who will sense energy in your body. We've just come from one of those, one of your guests. And if you would interview her, I bet she'll tell you that she's seeing better now than before. That she's coming into her own, you might say. And that is what we teach. Dear ones, this Circle of 12 is an invitation for you to see something and feel something that is beyond just a meditation. We told you last year, when we began the Circle of 12, that there are many kinds of reality for the human being. But in this new energy that we speak of, those things which didn't necessarily seem real to you a few years ago, now they can, and now they do. You are multidimensional. You always have been. That never changed. Your DNA is multidimensional. You live in a multidimensional world. All that is around you has these attributes, all of it. And yet, you seem to be stuck in simply 4 of the dimensions. There are multitudes of dimensions. You seem to want to simply experience 4. This is the invitation, this circle of 12, for you to go beyond the 4. And in the new energy, you can. And that is more than an invitation. It's something that we tell you is a given. Once you do this, and once you experience this, and it becomes real to you, you can start doing it on your own. You don't need a meditation. You don't really need me to take you there. The invitation also is open to all of you, is to repeat these Circle of 12 experiences on your own. That is your ability. It's really your lineage. And what we mean by that is you've always seen this coming. It's always been there. You are multidimensional. Now, here's what I'm talking about. If you haven't heard this before, when we cross that bridge, we enjoy a multidimensional experience. You are going into a part of you that you have not gone into before unless you do this all the time with me. This bridge we're about to cross is an energy bridge. It bridges the gap between the 4-dimensional reality and a multidimensional reality. Both are yours. So when you cross into the multidimensional you, it's not going to be some fairyland. It's not going to be some wispy thing that you imagine. It's you. It's simply you getting used to becoming a bigger you. You go into a place, if you want to call it that, that is multidimensional. Dear ones, I always premise that place with that phrase because there is no such thing as a place in a multidimensional world. It's all energy. These dimensionalities don't feature places. Now that's a difficult one, but we're going to go there now. We're going to give you all manner of metaphors so that you're comfortable. But I want you to see it. I want you to feel it. I want you to be there with me because of what's going to happen. See the bridge in front of you as it's always been there, between the known and the unknown, with a little bit of mist at the halfway point when obfuscates what's beyond it. So that you go and it simulates going through the veil, that thing that seems to separate you from so much, but today it separates you from nothing. Let's go together. Let's go right now. Take my hand. Move across that bridge with me as you've done so many times before, to a joyful place, dear ones, filled with so much that we have described before, filled with so many that we have described before. This, I'll tell you again, truly is home. This is where you go when you're not on the planet. But now you realize that when you're on the planet, you can go here as well. This is your soul. This is that thing that encompasses the divinity of you, that expands the divinity of you. It has no barrier, no boundary, this soul of yours, because it belongs to the creative source. It always was and always will be. It's the grandest thing that you have, and you carry it when you're on the planet. Today, what we want you to do is to go into a place, not a theater. It's a large room. And you go through a door yet again, and that door has a name on it that you cannot read, you cannot pronounce. It's a beautiful, beautiful door, and it's just filled with things you didn't expect. Why, that door has a few balloons on it. I mean, how could that be possible? This is your soul. There are no balloons in your soul, and yet there are. And that is for you, dear ones. And as you approach the room you're going to be in, there's noise in that room, a lot of noise. And as you enter that room, suddenly it stops, and there's a a breath that becomes one that's taken by there's so many in the room that stop the noise and looking at you. Let me explain what's going to happen right now to you. Last month, the love month, we took you to a room. You laid on a table. And the guides infused you, imbued you with beauty, with healing energy, profound healing energy. You might remember that. With peace. You might remember that. With truth. Truth that awakens you to light. You might remember that. And with love. How can you forget that? So all of these episodes of Healing 12 were like lessons, where the guides then put into you the various things that you already had, but you needed then to have more of. They took the pure you and gave it to you, especially that when they gave you the love. But there's one thing they did not give to you. You might have missed it. You might have then gone back and said, well, I missed the one thing that really I needed the most of. And that's what you do today. You've just walked into a big group of children. And they see you, and now it erupts again. They laugh and they applaud. And they're so happy to see you. And as you enter the room, they crowd around you, trying to take your hand. They're so pleased to see you. It's hard not to laugh at those beautiful children and what they say and what they do and how joyful they are. Look, all of them. And there's so many of them. It's an odd thing to recognize yourself in every single child. Who is this? Who could they be? But right now, they surround you with laughter. They're pulling upon you, and your hands, come this way, come this way. We want to show you this. We have all these drawings that we've made, expecting you to be here. We would love to share some time with you, and you go with them willingly. I want to introduce you to joy. And I want to tell you who's giving it to you. Every single one of these children are you. It's your inner child from every lifetime you've ever lived. Those beginning years before the responsibilities, those years before you have anything to worry about, these are you. And in that, they want to share an unbridled joy with you. What would that mean? What would that mean? For you, it needs to go into you because it erases fear. While you're joyful, while you're laughing, while you're giddy, you don't fear much. You have so much peace. Laughter, joy, it erases so many things. It even tends to erase disease. This has been documented, dear ones, and this was missing from last month. But we couldn't not do it. So this is a time when the children surround you. What do you have to say to them at the moment? I think the best thing you could do is say nothing. And instead, enjoy and laugh and be. And see what those children want to say to you and absorb perhaps the inner child of all of your lifetimes. But I don't want you to stop laughing when you leave this place. Dear ones, here's the challenge. This is infectious. It'll go into your cellular structure, all of this laughing, all of these beautiful faces, all of them pulling upon you, and they love you and know you, asking you to play with them and sit with them and do things. All of them together, almost in one consciousness, in one voice, listening to you and you listening to them. And you laugh and you cry. because you're joyful. Here's what I want. I want you to cognize this and take it home with you. I want you to be able to think of this particular metaphor, this circle of 12, every single time you can. When you wake up in the morning, to rekindle the inner child and think about all these inner children that are all you in this circle of 12, that all are in your soul. When you leave this circle of 12, dear ones, they don't go away. All of them have always been there in your life, all of them. Can you imagine such a thing when you wake up in the morning, hearing the laughter of the child within? Before you go to sleep at night, perhaps, experiencing the laughter of the child within. It's going to change your life. I want you to stay here. Stay and be imbued with joy from the only thing that truly could give it to you, your own inner children, all of the ones that you've experienced all your life, and all of those lives before. Stay and laugh. Stay and have the joy of the inner child. And so it is.